Listen, we have a lot of other news to get to. The president obviously facing a number of pretty serious major foreign policy tests. 100 people reportedly killed, more than 24 children in an attack in Syria in a rebel-held area. And the president spoke in the Rose Garden. Here's more of what he said. He continued to really harp on Obama about this. Take a look.
Yesterday, chemical attack. A chemical attack that was so horrific in Syria against innocent people, including women, small children, and even beautiful little babies. Their deaths was an affront to humanity. These heinous actions by the Assad regime cannot be tolerated. The United States stands with our allies across the globe to condemn this horrific attack. Well, I think the Obama administration had a great opportunity to solve this crisis a long time ago when he said the red line in the sand. And when he didn't cross that line after making the threat, I think that set us back a long ways, not only in Syria, but in many other parts of the world. I now have responsibility, and I will have that responsibility and carry it very proudly. It crossed a lot of lines for me. When you kill innocent children, innocent babies, little babies, with a chemical gas that is so lethal, people were shocked to hear what gas it was. That crosses many, many lines, beyond the red line, many, many lines. I will tell you that attack on children yesterday had a big impact on me, big impact. And I will tell you, it's already happened, that my attitude toward Syria and Assad has changed very much. As you know, I'll be meeting with the president of China very soon in Florida. And that's another responsibility we have, and that's called the country of North Korea. We have a big problem. We have somebody that is not doing the right thing, and that's going to be my responsibility.
Richard Haass, a lot to talk about. The president taking the responsibility on his shoulders. He had he said what I think most of us would say about Barack Obama. I think even a lot of President Obama's allies about President Obama crossing the red line. So I wasn't as surprised by him answering a question with that as I was putting it in his initial statement, which was terrible. But you said it cannot be tolerated. Assad crossed a lot of lines for me. My attitude towards Syria and Assad has changed. He talked about working with his allies, one of whom he was standing next to yesterday, who I think is becoming one of his more influential allies. What did you hear yesterday in the president's remarks in the Rose Garden?
I actually thought it was an important statement, Joe. I think the president, though, needs to stop talking about Barack Obama, but he has a major opportunity to differentiate himself from Barack Obama. This is actually something of a real opportunity for Donald Trump. It's his way to say there's a new sheriff in town. And when the United States is more prepared to act than it was. So I think in Syria, actually, given what he said yesterday, and even if he hadn't said it, I believe there's a need to act there militarily. There's a whole range of options we can talk about what it is we might do to penalize the government. It says that we're more involved there than we were. It says you can't use a weapon of mass destruction with impunity, and that connects to the North Korean issue. You know, when you're a great power like the United States, you can't see the pieces on the chessboard or the squares in isolation. So what we do and don't do in Syria now has tremendous implications for how China sees North Korea and for what North Korea is going to do. So I think, again, there's an opportunity, but arguably the necessity for the United States to say anyone who uses a weapon of mass destruction, they are going to pay a price. It doesn't mean we go to war in Syria. It doesn't mean we switch to regime change overnight, but it does mean we need to find some discrete military actions to hurt the Syrian government, possibly to help the Syrian people, and that will send a major message of reassurance throughout the Middle East, and as the president said, the world, and it makes China understand that he can't continue to allow the North Korean situation to drift. So this is actually a major turning point, because the two big issues in the president's inbox are suddenly come together with a third. It's also going to make him reassess his whole view of Vladimir Putin.
Yeah.
The Russians are
Yes,
saying
it is.
this was just
the
about the
time.
rebels. So it's all coming together here. So I think when the history is potentially written of this administration, this week could turn out to be pivotal.
Yeah.
This could turn out to be pivotal, and Mika, there is an opportunity not only for this president to differentiate himself, but more importantly for Western democracies and for our Arab allies, who I will say this administration, at least Sunni Arab allies, have a closer relationship with the Trump administration than they did the Obama administration. We've heard it personally. Some leaders telling us that they, quote, love Donald Trump, to our surprise, but they do. He's got an opportunity to bring an alliance together and not invade Syria, but at least make sure that the allies' response to this attack is measured, but also focuses perhaps on the Syrian Air Force, and perhaps our allies help ground the Syrian Air Force. We as a country and we as a civilization cannot stand by again and allow another chemical attack to go unanswered again because, quote, it's hard. Yes, it is hard. It's even more hard living in a world where tyrants get the green light to use chemical weapons against women and children, as Assad has done. Barack Obama gave Assad a green light to do that. The West gave Assad a green light to do that. The question now is, will Donald Trump continue to give Assad the green light, or will he work with allies who are willing? At one point, I heard the French were willing to work with Barack Obama to help ground the Syrian Air Force. I would guess, Mika, those offers will be coming in for help if that's what he wants to do.
Major opportunity. We're going to talk about this more. We have much more ahead on these foreign policy challenges facing the Trump administration and the possibilities at hand.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.